Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Help on the Way podcast. I am your host, Fig. We will be featuring April 2nd, 1990. However, first, I am here with my co-host, Knob. Say hello, Knob.
Hello, Knob.
And a special guest, David A. Davis, the author of the newly released book, The Economic History of the Grateful Dead, a look inside the financial records of America's biggest 20th century touring act. David, say hello to Help on the Way podcast fans.
Hey, Fig and Knob, how you guys doing? And everyone at home listening live?
We're doing great. Thanks for coming on board.
Good. I can speak that our entire audience is doing good, and we're all glad to have you here.
Knob is very in tune with our audience and can just tell how everyone's doing at any given time.
Holding up the book, forgetting that podcast is not a visual medium, and no one can see that I'm holding up the book.
Can you describe the book?
Yeah, I mean it's a book. It's a black book with a photograph on the cover of, what is this? An 80? I'm eyeballing and saying an 85 Dead show.
Close. It's May 2nd, 87.
I read the back cover and it says it. Shot by Juliet Barr.
Yep.
Oh, wonderful. Cool shot. Okay, and just to repeat, that is The Economic History of the Grateful Dead. It's out now on Amazon and I'm sure some other fine retailers. We'll get into that a little bit, but before we do that, let's go into our channel 6, which is our news items, and then of course when we have a guest on, the first news item will be our What Shall We Say segment, which will be our interview. And I will start with the first question. So David, we learned in the book that your first show was 6/9/76. Great year. But how did you get on the bus? Was it that show? Was it before that show? Tell us about your path to fandom.
When I was a hoodlum and I was like 14 or 15, me and a friend broke into a college radio station, and we saw these cool looking records, like his Europe 72. I can't say that. I can't admit to a crime from.
I think the statute of limitation has passed, but
that's how I originally saw Europe 72, and then I was the first guy in our group of friends to like the Dead. And then I went to Andover for high school, and I was like one of the first people to like the Dead. And then Jerry played in Boston when I was 16, and the Dead had this mail order. I was on their list, and they had this mail order of these theater shows in 76. And that's how I wound up going to the 9th and the 12th in Boston.
Wow.
Very cool.
Those are great shows.
Yep, they were. The Dead released all of the 9th and a good chunk of the 12th on one of those road trips, 4.5.
Okay. Oh, those are great. I love those series.
I like them. Me too.
Awesome. So speeding up a little bit, tell us about your Grateful Seconds blog. What brought you to blogging about the Dead, decades after starting to get into them and on the bus?
Well, I saw 40 shows in the 70s, 40 shows in the 80s, and one show in the 90s. And I kind of was drifted away after the Dylan and the Dead tour in 87.
Okay.
And but right around the time Jerry died, I discovered that Rob Eden had found all these Betty boards, and there are all these tapes around, and the internet was around more. It's easier to get recordings, and I couldn't believe like all these shows I had seen and now had amazing soundboard recordings. So I just was a great fan, and then I would go about once a year to like the Q or Dead and Company and stuff. And about 10 years ago, I started writing Grateful Seconds blog, and my niche was writing about a lot of shows I went to and a lot of shows I didn't, about 500 in total. And I would find online, newspaper reviews of the shows and different college students talking about the shows. And I did that for 10 years, and I had 2.5 million views, and it was pretty good. But it was like a hobby and stuff like that. And then in 2022, I retired And I was finally able to go to my friend Joe Jupil, who's writing a book on Jerry Garcia, which will be fine. Took me up to the archive at Santa Cruz of the Grateful Dead archive. And the archive allowed me to take pictures of, I think, 3,000 or 4,000 pages of documents. And I spent about 3 years looking at those and figuring out a way to write a book on those, with my theme being the money side of the dead. I can sit here and tell you what I personally think is the best Mississippi half step from 1970s, like a million people can. And it's all opinion, but what's cool about this book, it's just like fact. It's documents.
Right.
So I let the documents speak for themselves. I tried to only put a few documents in. I put like 40 in out of the 3,000 I took, and I wrote my little book.
Very cool.
Yeah, I've gotten the chance to read through the book, and I really enjoyed it. And there's something that's really interesting to me, the way that you just add this important supplementary information to these parts of Grateful Dead history that have become lore in and of themselves. One of the interesting parts, you paint a picture of the band's financials around the time that Lenny Hart stops being their manager. And something that I found really interesting is, yes, he had stolen a lot of money from the band, but also the band were in dire financial place through a bunch of unrelated reasons as well. I don't know.
Well, that's interesting, because I discovered that in the last year, how Lenny didn't really know how to book them. He had this little, over like a 2-month period in 1970, right prior to Sam Cutler, a professional tour manager, coming on. They were traveling $1,000. 1,000 miles between gigs. They'd play in Dallas. The next day they'd travel to Florida. The next gigs were in Boston. It was just he wasn't really panicked. They literally for 2 months traveled, I think, 1,500 miles between each gig. It's crazy. And then Sam Cutler came in, and he had only 1 year experience with the Rolling Stones, but he still kind of had the theme of things. Let's play at small gigs, colleges, with huge Dead fans, and let's travel 50 or 100 miles a night. We'll play in Boston, then we'll play in Connecticut, then we'll play in New York, like that.
Yeah.
Right.
So I like looking at that, and then I like looking at, when I can, starting in May of 1970, I'm starting to get like tour information, whether they made money or not.
What year? I'm sorry. What year did they start making money?
So that college tour they did in May of 1970. They played at MIT. They made a little bit of money that tour, and that was the first one that Sam coordinated. And they ended up at the end of the month going over to England for the first time. So even with the England gig, which didn't really pay all that much, they still had a successful and profitable month. I did find this cool thing. I think for that May tour, I found a financial Grateful Dead May financial report, 1970, and on the top it says Jerry. It was Jerry's copy at the meeting.
Nice.
I love that kind of stuff. On page 45 of
fly on the wall kind of thing.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
Speaking of booking at colleges, there's a story that I really enjoyed reading about in the book. When you were in college at Bowdoin College, you tried to book the Jerry Garcia band.
Well,
Can you tell us a little about that?
Okay, so me and my friends, I think it was late 77. I had just seen the 3 shows in upstate New York in 77.
Yeah.
And I in the 4 shows that I saw in April and May 77, I was still in high school. So I would hitchhike up to shows at, Saturday nights. So only saw Saturday night shows. And then so we had like my freshman year, and we had a 22-year-old Sally something. She was our student advisor. And we had like 10 grand in our college entertainment fund. And some dude from my college knew that the Garcia band you could book them for like $5,000 or $8,000 or whatever. But we all voted to have Jerry come up.
Nice.
But then she vetoed us because she was worried that Jerry might not even, sell out or attract a crowd, and she didn't understand. So.
Wow.
Oh,
It's like, man, Decca didn't understand the Beatles either, so some people screw up.
yeah. Now you mentioned that you took a break from seeing the Dead between 87 and 94. What was it like coming back to seeing the Dead at that point in time?
A buddy of mine called me up, gave me a free ticket. It was at the LA Sports Arena. I had not seen the Dead in 7 years. I didn't go check, and I didn't go check any song lists or anything like that. I really didn't know what they were going to play. And Bradford Marsalis played at that show. It was the fourth best, most popular Bradford show of his four that he played. But It was still cool that he did it. And they were reading off teleprompters, and Jerry was like, not what he was in the 70s and the 80s, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it was still cool that I saw that show. I saw a bunch of songs like Eternity that I only saw that one time. Very last song I ever saw the Dead played was Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
Ooh.
How do you feel about their cover of Lucy?
Oh, come on. It's
now that we're on the subject of the Beatles, let's talk about that.
I wrote a piece years ago about which Beatles songs the Dead had played, and I love when the Dead played Beatles songs. And but by the end, they're doing their best. Bobby's still so young back then, Phil's vibrant, but right. Jerry had been declining since the late 70s, so unfortunately.
Yeah.
And it's still cool to see.
Yeah, at least it's interesting from like a kind of music history kind of context.
Oh yeah.
With speaking of just the end of the Dead, with that summer '95 tour, that tour from hell with the gate crashers and the death threats on Jerry. Obviously, we can only speak in hypotheticals here. But how do you think that would have changed the business side of the Dead had they been able to continue touring in the future?
They probably would have avoided some of those like large summer gigs. I don't think they ran into problems at places like the stadiums that they would play, like Giant Stadium or RFK. If they ran into problems at Franklin County, they played 94 and 95 in Vermont. Yeah. But some of those other ones, Deer Creek, Riverport, I don't think they had problems at Soldier Field.
Right.
It was like the Dead could run into problems if it was at a certain place. So, I mean, they were still the most popular band in the country.
Yeah. Right.
They just made so much more money when they played, like RFK that summer. They're making $700,000 a night.
Wow.
And when they play the Boston Garden, they only get $200,000, or MSG like $300,000. So, economically, it was much better for them. But.
So you think that if the show would have continued, it just would have continued almost how it was organically going, which is just more towards the big stadium shows, just because economically it made more sense to do that?
Yeah, I mean, they're only playing like 30 or 35 venues in the whole year, compared to the late 70s when they're playing 80 different venues. And their relationship with John Shear's company and Amy Pollin, who was the liaison between John Shear and the Dead for over 20 years. I mean, they were and Cameron Sears. They were all organized. They had the system going. All the crew had the system going. Because they had so much overhead, I think they felt like they had to keep playing 80 shows a year. I think maybe if they would have cut back or taken a break like they did in 75 or 86 or 93, I think that would have been more healthy. Would have been great if Jerry,
Yeah.
Jerry could have just played with the Jerry Garcia band in smaller venues,
Right.
Yeah.
like Bobby's still doing it, and now Bobby's playing giant venues again.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's also playing giant venues, and
But
with
he wasn't
symphonies
always.
and.
No, but he wasn't always like in 2003 when I first saw Rat Dog. He's playing at the House of Blues, and it's 1,000 people in LA. I mean,
Yeah,
those were great. And Phil and Friends originally played in rather smaller places.
I
Yeah,
saw Bobby for the first time in 2011, and it was at like TLA. It was one of the smaller theaters in Philly, and I had just gotten out of a law school function. I was in like a suit, and I didn't have time to change before going to see Bob Weir, and at a smaller venue, and just the looks, just the juxtaposition of me like in a suit going to see Bob Weir with like the whole scene. It was interesting. I
No,
had a
but
good time.
even in '94 in LA, people a lot of the Deadheads were older and coming from work, and
Oh yeah, sure.
they looked like work clothes and suits, and you'd see that even in the later Dead.
Yeah, that's
Not
good.
in the '80s, but in the '90s.
Yeah. There's one last thing in the book I want to ask you about before we start going into the show. There's an interesting comparison made early on in the book between the Grateful Dead vault and the Disney vault, where the Walt Disney Company has been storing its films to release intermittently. In recent years, Disney's has kind of transitioned into the vault, into its streaming platform, Disney Plus. Do you think there's money to be made for the Dead going that route, or do you think it's better for them to stick to these annual releases with the Dave's Picks and the box sets?
I don't know the economics of what the Dead are getting when they're putting stuff on Apple Music and Spotify. I noticed that certain titles go on right away. Certain theories like the Dave's Picks aren't on there yet.
Right.
So but they're definitely doing what Disney did, which is windowing.
Yeah.
And I give a lot of credit to Rhino because Rhino has really, they've been releasing stuff in all kinds of ways. It's not just CDs, it's not just streaming, all the video stuff. Like last week, they re-released through a third party, I think it's Real Gone, they re-released the Dick's Picks 3 on vinyl. Which is one of the most tremendous shows ever, 5/22/77 in Pembroke Pines, Florida. And when they do the re-release, it's $100, and it's $500 on eBay. The earlier one that was released 15 years ago. It's good that they do that. They do the Dick's Picks re-releases of the CDs, and like I love how they do that because it keeps. The only one that they haven't re-released is the Fillmore Complete 1969, which you still pay ridiculous amounts on eBay. They should just put it out for $100. Come on.
So what are your thoughts with the archive? I'm talking about like archive.org and, being able to access the Grateful Dead's, entire history there. And I did want to come back to something you said earlier, which is kind of cool, talking about how these Betty boards were kind of unveiled or found or refound at some point, which is so interesting to me and hopefully maybe many in our audience that come to it, after, and just thinking that these Betty boards were always around. And then, it was interesting the way you said it, how these were kind of uncovered. I thought that was really cool. But my point is, oh, go ahead. I have a question, but go ahead if you want to answer that.
No, I was just going to say, like, June 9th, 76. I always had an audience tape of that for like 20 years, and then voila, it came out on a Betty board, that kind of a thing. But finish your point.
Yeah, so my point is, the economics of putting everything out for free online, that jives with the Grateful Dead's ethos, coming out of San Francisco and whatnot. Does it? But it doesn't necessarily jive with the Disney Plus ethos that I think the last question was kind of getting to. Or does it, right? Like, are they creating something organic to get more ears and to, pass down the music to generations and create accessibility to their music? What are your thoughts on that? I mean, I know it's not quantifiable, but just your take.
Well, first let's talk about what the Dead are. They pretty much have everything on the internet, but the soundboards are not easy to download, and they're only lower quality. So they're it's a lower quality format, and rather than lossless. But you can also go
Really
to places.
edited.
You can find places that have the soundboards easy, and if you want them, but you still have to download them and whatever. But I think it's possible that the Grateful Dead recordings will be removed from archive at some point. There might be a different owner of the assets at some point. The Dead, there's not that many remaining members. It's not clear what will happen over time, what that'll do. There was recently a change on Internet Archive where 5,000 books and publications were removed because of a copyright suit. A nice chunk of my research came from my box office research for a certain segment of my book came from Internet Archive and is no longer available. Luckily, guys like me download all my pictures in advance without so I don't have to worry about that in the future.
Yeah.
And but as it relates to Disney, my comments with Disney were that originally, like when Snow White was released in 1937, every 7 years or so they would re-release it, and there were five different years that it was the number one movie in the country. 5 different years because of that. And then later they did the same thing when they put it out on VHS, and then DVD. They would release it every 7 years, and they still do that because it's special because they have commentaries or whatever they put on there. People still buy that even though they can see it on Disney Plus. And with the Dead stuff, you can hear 5777 on Internet Archive, or you can have the original vinyl, or you can have the CD set that they put out that's reasonably priced for those 4 shows in May 77. And there's all different ways, but people will continue to buy them. And let's say that the next Dave's Picks 53, 10-276 in Cincinnati. You can hear that in many formats and ways right now, but they're still sold 25,000 of them at $25,
Yeah.
And so it's a cool strategy. And the Dead strategy of free and, that kind of thing has worked so well for them, and a lot of other bands have tried to use that same strategy. But don't get too greedy. When we get to the Atlanta part, there's an interesting little thing about that free. I'll tell you.
Cool. So yeah, for folks who are just kind of tuning in, I mean, I know this is not live radio, but I don't know. I listen to NPR sometimes, and they do that. I wanted to do that, and it doesn't make any sense. So we are talking to David Davis, and he has just released The Economic History of the Grateful Dead, a look inside the financial records of America's biggest 20th century touring act. David, why don't you tell the audience where they can get their hands on this awesome book?
Well, the 2 best places are, if you just want a copy in 2 days from Amazon, it's $35 and they charge you tax. It's $38, but you'll get it in 2 days. And if you want to get a autographed copy from me that I can personalize too, if you send me an email at davidadavis.com, davidadavis@gmail.com. For $30, I'll 2-night priority mail it, signed to you, get it before Christmas. I have about 50 more of them that'll be first editions that are available before Christmas, because I'm going to make some slight modifications in January for the 60th anniversary.
Ooh. Use promo code KNOB to get signed first edition of the book.
You know what? I noticed that there's a lot of people that like to have it personalized or autographed.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm happy.
That's a great idea.
So.
Lovely. All right. Well, thank you so much for chatting with us. We're going to do a little bit more Channel 6 news because, as you know, the Dead are always doing something. And we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about our weekly show, which is 4290 down at the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia. So, yeah, let's get into the Kennedy Center honors. So this actually occurred over the weekend,
Yesterday
and
for us.
when, Knob?
Yesterday, it's Sunday,
Sunday.
the 8th. It's yesterday right now when we record it, but it'll be
Okay.
half of a week ago by the time you, our beloved audience, hear it.
And it'll be airing, I think, on CBS on the 22nd, I believe.
Yes.
And it's a star-studded tribute to the Grateful Dead, as well as other artists. Bonnie Raitt, whom my mother loves, I will shout out to my mom, who's a huge Bonnie Raitt fan. And if I ever need a quick gift, I just like go on Amazon and buy her the newest Bonnie Raitt. Like, here you go, Mom.
They can't tell. No, now she's going to listen to the podcast.
Oh, she knows what this is
know
about.
your gift giving strategy.
All right, first of all, she does not listen to the podcast. Second of all, she's very happy I do this, but she's not going to listen to it. I'm not sure she knows what a podcast really is, but let's move on. David Letterman. I don't say eulogized. Was there and spoke of the dead. I thought that was kind of cool. So tune in. That's the 22nd on CBS, but this did just happen yesterday. And before the Kennedy Center famously being in DC, the surviving members of the Grateful Dead actually went to a ceremony at the White House. And we had Joe Biden giving a speech, which I transcribed. It was interesting. Joe Biden comes out as a deadhead. Where was that factoid like 2 months ago? We could have done something with that. But this is what Joe Biden said, to the best that I could type it up. He said, in the San Francisco Bay, at an inflection point in history, the Grateful Dead have long since transcended 1960s counterculture. Technical virtuosos, fiercely dedicated to their craft, they fused decades and dozens of musical styles to create a willowy new American soundtrack that was experimental, innovative, and brave. Now, I will say, I did have YouTube's closed captioning AI helping me, so I don't know if he said willowy, but that sounds actually like a good Grateful Dead lyric, so I kept it in. But Joe Biden continues. Their lyric tells the stories of dreamers and rebels, iconic jams, or just a performance that's not just an ongoing conversation with generations of devoted fans. Hundreds and hundreds of songs. And then he said they recorded 59 of the top 40 albums, which made absolutely no sense. But then he says 2,300 concerts from Woodstocks to Egypt Great Pyramids. One of the most popular bands ever to be watched live in concert. And he says, look, there's still a lot of deadheads around. And then he points to himself and everybody goes wild. It was really cool. No two performances were ever the same, but their spirit and joy is enduring. And tonight we honor Bobby, Bill, and Mickey. And we remember those lost along the way, like Ron, referring to Pigpen. Took me a while to figure that out. Phil, whose grandson Graham is here tonight. And I think that would be his son, Graham. Unless Graham has another son.
No, that would be
great. Okay, so. And of course, Jerry Garcia, whose daughter Trixie is here. And then he tells Trixie Garcia to stand up. And then he says, ladies and gentlemen, the Grateful Dead. And the crowd goes wild. Oh, and then he tells a story about his youngest granddaughter asking him, who are the dead? Which my daughters have asked me many times before because it kind of creeps them out. And then when Joe Biden said, wait, what are you asking about? He goes, who's the Grateful Dead? Which my daughter has the same kind of speech impediment. And it's very cute. Knob, David, any thoughts on Kennedy Center stuff?
Now you guys got it covered. I'll talk about Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear it because it is a very star-studded lineup. Maggie Rogers, Leon Bridges, Sturgill Simpson, Dave Matthews, Derek Truck, Susan Tedeschi.
Oh wow!
It plus
David
the band,
Letterman.
Don Was, Jeff Chimenti, Rick Goose. It should be a good lineup. I'm excited to hear Maggie Rogers and Sturgill Simpson sing "Friend of the Devil" together.
Wait, so Rick from Goose was really part of that band?
Yeah, he was the guitarist in the house band for the Dead portion.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I feel like since we've done this podcast, we've really seen the rise of that band and Rick in general.
That is
That's
true.
really cool. I mean, I see it from the sidelines because I'm just not a huge, fan of bands besides the Grateful Dead. But let's get into what the Grateful Dead were doing in April 2nd, 1990, down at the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia. David, you have some factoids, little context for us before we jump into it? Go ahead.
These shows did not sell out. There were 3 shows the night before, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. They did not sell out. 16,000 a night went. Tickets were about $18. The Dead made about 400,000 for the 3 shows, about 130,000 a night. So they were going to like triple how much money they made in about 5 years. But
Right.
the first time they played the Omni in 1973, I think they made 15 or 20,000. So it's, the Omni was open in 1973, so the Dead were one of the first bands to ever play there. It's a famous Atlanta arena. One of the first times, or maybe actually the first time the Dead ever played in Atlanta, it was 1969 at Piedmont Park. There was something called the Atlanta International Pop Festival, which drew 150,000 people over the weekend. The Dead were booked on Monday for a free show. So the audience in the park, it was free for the audience. I think the Allman Brothers played that day too. But the Dead got paid $6,000. It's like right around the time of Woodstock. It was tied for the second largest payment they made in 1969. What's interesting about that show was that Alex Cooley was promoting that festival, and he made a profit on the weekend, and he decided, we're hippies, we don't make money. So that's how he booked the Dead and Allman and some other people, and he spent like $20,000 on Monday to book great bands to play for free. So to give back the profit. And he also promoted that 1990s shows at the Omni. So he promoted most of the Dead shows. Most of the Dead shows in Atlanta were at the Fox Theater. Yeah. It's kind of like the Warfield or the Boston Music Hall, like that Beacon Theater. It held like 3,000 or 4,000, and the Dead played there up until I think '85. Still playing at a small place in Atlanta because they liked the theater.
Mm-hmm.
This 1990 show, I'll tell you, according to Deadbase, 1990 is the 5th most popular show. No, the second set is the 5th most popular second set of the year out of like 80 shows. So this was a really well-received show.
It was a good show. Very good show.
You'll get into the songs and I'll comment on them. There's a couple of songs. You guys go.
Thanks so much thanks so much for that context. Fox Theater. I have Dick's Picks from '77 Fox Theater, and it's so good. Smoking stuff. But they were also doing very well in April '90 at the Omni. So set 1 starts off with A Stranger, and then they kind of just start over again with Mississippi Half Step, Into the Wait, and Early the Wait. Queen Jane, Approximately, Easy to Love You makes an appearance, Brown Eyed Women, and then they end set 1 of April 2nd, 1990 with Let It Grow. Knob, what were your thoughts?
I liked it. Truth be told, I think that this is a show that I would describe as greater than the sum of its parts. There's not a lot of, to me, stand out renditions, especially in this first set. And yet, I like it a lot. It all works. It's a very fun, groovy little time. It starts off with a very good groove on Stranger, with some very lively interjections from Brent and Jerry. Phil's on fire, just very lively jams here. Jerry's having a lot of fun with his MIDI flute. It's really working for me. Mississippi Half Step very wonderfully moves and grooves. It's got a fun little Brent solo. Very solid build up across the across the Rio Grande section. I think it does well without wowing. I honestly think the coolest part of the Mississippi Half Step is the transition into the Wait. It's a very sneaky transition. You don't quite realize it's happened until Jerry starts singing, and that gets a great reaction out of the crowd. I'm gonna make this about theater for a second. I once saw a play that had Nathan Lane in it, but Nathan Lane sneakily shows up halfway through the play you've heard his voice, and then there's this big scene where everybody's on stage, and you don't know what's going on, and suddenly everybody turns around and whoa, Nathan Lane's in the crowd, and everyone's like, oh my god, and it got this great big reception. And that's how The Wait felt to me. Here, I would make a comparison between this song and Nathan Lane, because that's my role on this podcast. It's got a very nice energy.
As one does.
It's a natural thing to think, I think.
Well, wait. But the interesting thing about The Wait being here, I mean, I always think about The Wait being a second set song, like maybe post drums, or an encore, exactly. So to sneak it in, that's a Nathan Lane moment, sure.
Yeah, very interesting mid set one placement here. Anyway, it's got very nice energy on it. Everybody is given some space to sing their verse. I do think the band gets a little lost in the instrumental verse, and especially how they transition back into the final verse. But overall, it works very well. Queen Jane is good. I always love how the Dead do Queen Jane. Very lively vocals from Bobby, and the rhythm section is keeping it very bouncy with some wonderful Jerry interjections. I am a sucker for that Easy to Love You Spring 90 arrangement where the first verse is slowed down like that, which you can tell by the fact that I compared something earlier to Nathan Lane. I love that slightly slowed down version. This is a version that is sung well, the band plays it well, nothing particularly crazy happening, some nice ad-libs towards the end, but it's just well played. A fast and joyful little brown-eyed women. This whole set has just been about riding a vibe, and it's a great vibe, you know? And then we get to the Let It Grow, which is a favorite of me for this set. It's a little intense, a little weird. Brent's keys are really helping add to the bigness of everything. The big standout here to me is that Jerry is playing with a ferocity that he has not shown up until this point. It's a wonderful closer to the set. It keeps up the good vibes, grooves, while adding a layer of intensity that we will come to see in set 2. The closing jam is a lot of fun. To me, the highlights of this first set are its opening song and closing song, but it's a lot of fun throughout. What did you think, Fig?
I agree. A lot of fun throughout. This was a great show. It'd be a good show to listen to on like XM. You know, it's just kind of like on, and it's good, and it gets you what you need. And it got me what I needed. I only was able to listen to this maybe about 1.5, 2 times, but it was really good. I would suggest there are a couple different versions on the archive, but there is a Charlie Miller Ultra Matrix on the archive that I was really digging. Lots of fill on that tape, very upfront. So if you want to kind of hear what Phil's doing on any given night, this is a good one for you. It does take until the long, crazy night portion of Feel Like a Stranger for the groove to really get going. Once it got going, the players really did slip into it, and I don't think they really dropped out of it for the rest of the night, really. Turned it into a very boppy, good version of Stranger. And then again, they kind of start over with Mississippi Half Step, because both of those songs can act as an opening song. The song portion was very well sung by Jerry, and it's a real juxtaposition from, what was it, 84 last week that we spoke about, that he didn't have any sort of vocal range, and his timbre was all off. And you know, just excellent to hear Jerry in good health and good form in spring 1990. And just really well played by all. I really liked the Across the Rio Grande portion. I thought that was excellent. Well sung, and definitely listen to Bobby's syncopated add-on. So again, if someone wants to pay attention to what Bobby's doing, Mississippi Half Step's a good one for that. Wait, I thought was a very special surprise just by song placement. Queen Jane was good. Easy to Love You. It's interesting. You pointed out that it started off slower, and you're right, and I like that idea. But then it was played very fast once the little lick comes in and the full band gets going. They played it fast, and it made me think that this could have been a radio hit. It really could have been something special and interesting if they went in that direction, just like a classic rock, yacht rock radio hit. Easy to Love You. Great song.
Yeah.
It really does. Yeah, if Game were here, I would bring up Central Pennsylvania radio stations that this one would
It's a pretty old song, too. 79, I think, when Brent's... I used to see it, so... almost every show.
Makes another appearance. I was surprised to see it in spring '90.
It's kind of the only one. Yeah, it's kind of the only one that he sang in the late '70s for a while.
Yeah.
I like
with
his
Spring
songs.
'90, Easy to Love You makes a little comeback when they add the first verse being slowed down by like that. If you listen to Go to Heaven or the early, late '70s, early '80s versions, it's the same tempo throughout. That's a new addition here.
Cool. Brown Eyed Women. Okay, now if you want to listen to what Jerry can do, listen to the opening lick of Brown Eyed Women. Just incredibly tasty, very well played, leading into a nice up-tempo version of what is really an otherwise sad song. I think the sadness of that song for some reason kind of came out to me when listening to it, and just the juxtaposition between maybe the up-tempo nature of it and just the sad lyrics was highlighted to me upon this listen. Let It Grow I liked. I didn't have too much of a takeaway, so I'll just agree with Knob. So we are in set 2 of April 2nd, 1990. We start off with A Foolish Heart. We have a Looks Like Rain, into a He's Gone, and to This Could Be the Last Time, into a Drums in Space, into the other one. And then we get the final ever Death Don't Have No Mercy, Around and Around, Good Lovin', and then we have a Black Muddy River. I'm just going to go because I don't have too much on the second set. Although I did love this Foolish Heart. Phil is ferocious on this one. Just adding such great melodies and counterpoint throughout the entire song. Extremely well sung by Jerry. And really everybody who was helping him on vocals. Just a very sweet version of Foolish Heart. It's about 9 minutes. Very good Foolish Heart. One of my favorite Grateful Dead songs. Looked Like Rain was good. It had a lot of sound effects coming, I'm guessing, from Mickey, which I thought were interesting. He's Gone. I really liked the outro of this one with Brent and Bobby singing.
Yeah.
The Gone, well, it's gone. Yeah. They were singing, I think, in unison. Maybe there's some harmony going on, but like just the blend of their two vocals was very interesting. I like that part. This Could Be the Last Time. The crowd was loving this great rocking version. Drums in Space don't have much. The other one don't have much. Now, this final Death Don't Have No Mercy. Really good slow blues dirge that Jerry Garcia loves so much. Interesting hearing them play Pass the Mic to Brent and then to Bob for the various verses there. Round and Round was good. Good Lovin' was good. Black Muddy River was a very good ending. But again, another dirge, kind of interesting they went in that direction to end the night after such a boppy up-tempo first set. Now, what was your thoughts on the second set?
I like it. It's very good. I think the strongest chunk of this show is post-drums set 2. But I think the whole thing is really good.
Wow.
Foolish Heart is nice and pretty. The jam leans very hard into that idea that Foolish Heart is built around of no one playing chords. Everyone is doing separate lead lines, and it's one of those things that you have to do it exactly right for it to work, and they do it exactly right tonight. It really works. It really builds to a nice peak. Jerry sounds pretty good on the vocals here. I think it's a nice Foolish Heart. Bob pours his heart into a very zippy Looks Like Rain. There's a wonderful sense of build here, which I think settles very nicely into He's Gone. Some very lovely piano twinkles from Brent. This is where I really start noticing, and this is something I love about Spring '90 in general. Not only is Brent really starting to feel comfortable and in the mix of the band, but he's getting really great performances out of everybody. And it's true a lot of years. There's the July '89 Not Fade Away with Brent and Jerry, trading off solos and having a great time together. And what I love about Spring '90 is you can hear that in pretty much every song. It's some really great Jerry work here. His vocals sound great, and I agree with you. I love Brent and Bobby's call and response. I think they are doing harmonies, but there's some great sounding little harmonies at the end. It takes us into a fun and playful The Last Time, which I thought was well played, and I know how this is about to sound. I kind of miss Vince's high harmony, having heard Vince versions of The Last Time so much. Anyway,
Really?
I
You're,
did.
you're gonna
I
come at me like that?
I kind of wanted to hear that note in the chord. It felt empty without it.
It's missing a caterwaul or two.
Yeah. We
All
get to
right.
drums. It's a very fast and tom heavy drums. It reminds me like a lot of jazz breaks. Like it just kept kind of feeling like a free jazz song was ending for like 4 minutes. And then it gets nice with the pitch percussion combined with very intense toms. It's very much a feedback loop in terms of energy. Space is very interesting. I couldn't tell in the beginning if it was Phil or Brent using a keyboard to sound like a bass. I think ultimately what I was hearing might have been Jerry playing a MIDI thing. It was a very cool sounding space. I've been rewatching a lot of 70s Doctor Who because everything in life is going great. And it all kind of sounds like this 70s space. That was very, very interesting to hear. I also like, at one point, Jerry combines his MIDI flute with classic guitar feedback. It's a very unique sound, and I really enjoyed it. We then get to the... Yeah.
Oh, can I just say one thing? Okay,
Please.
so the Omni shows began the last 25 shows before Brent Midland passed away. And
Yes.
I never heard these shows until the late 90s. I didn't really hear 89. I stopped going in 87. I didn't see any shows at all in 88 and until 94. And when I listened in a row to these 25, the spring tour and summer tour, it's tremendous stuff. And
Yes.
a number of people prefer this to any other year of the Grateful Dead, and maybe the spring tour as being up there with some of the best tours the Dead ever did. And I have to give credit to you later Deadheads or people that appreciate the 90s, because this is some tremendous stuff. And every night, in April 2nd, it's one of the better shows of the year, but it's just great playing that you don't necessarily see on the song list.
Yeah, great playing throughout as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it made me think, Spring 90 is easy to love. And that comes back to the Brent song, Easy to Love You.
Yeah, even I'll jump back to talking about the other one, but just while we're here, one of the strongest parts of the show I find, but also just one of the hardest to listen to, is this last Death Don't Have No Mercy. It's, to me, impossible to separate from the fact that Brent would be gone 4 months later.
Wait, so how many shows does Brent have left at this point?
It was 23 after the show.
23. Okay, wow.
23. He would. Yeah, within 4 months he would be gone, and he's singing his heart out. It's a great rendition of "Death Don't Have No Mercy," and everybody's singing the hell out of it. Jerry sounds great. Brent sounds great. Even Bobby sounds great. But just hearing Brent sing that verse really, really tugged at my own heartstrings. And then a great killer organ solo at the end. Everybody has probably their most emotional solos of the night in this Death Don't Have No Mercy. Yeah. Oh, Brent. Just jumping back to the other one, because I also think it's very good. The beginning of it lacks a little energy, I find, but it makes up for it by being very weird. And then the energy picks up. A very nice Brent and Jerry jam really picks up the energy. A lot of fun, just rhythmic ideas being played with. Around and Around has nice groove and energy. Brent really showing off one last solo. And then very nice closer energy in Good Lovin'. There's a brief snippet for about 5 seconds where Brent briefly tries this like tubular bell sound, and it sounds awful. And he very quickly stops playing to then switch to a different keyboard sound, and that was the right call. And then we get a very pretty, very well sung, very well felt Black Muddy River to take it all home. I really like the second set.
Yeah, jumping ahead a little bit, just to piggyback on something Nob said, we have from a Reddit comment from Grateful D Fish saying probably was too hard for them to do Death Don't Have No Mercy after Brent died.
Yeah,
That's an
I
interesting
believe
thought.
that. I believe
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, so maybe that's one of the reasons we have the final one today on this show. Okay,
I think
so
I I think they
Go ahead.
tried Dear Mr. Fantasy once after Brent passes away. I think they tried it at one singular it's fall 1990 show and then just never tried it again. I do think that obviously besides his own songs, I do think that his passing definitely led to that gap there. Anyway, sorry. I'm going to stop being
yeah, we don't have to
book
eulogize
fun.
Brent on this show.
Yeah.
As we do in most shows. All right, Nob, would this make your Book of the Dead?
I don't know. I kind of think that it toes the line without quite getting there. I think all around it's a well played show, but besides the other one and Death Don't Have No Mercy, I'm not that wowed.
Yeah, I really like this one. It was easy to love this show. However, I don't think it would make my Book of the Dead. David, do you want to chime in? Did you get a chance to listen to this show?
Yes.
Recently?
I like the next night.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
This one's perfectly fine, and in this whole era of really good shows.
Yeah.
Yes.
The next night has like a full set, seamless jam, and that's why I prefer it. It's only
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. I think we know which set we will append to the end of this talking portion of the show. But Nob, let's go through it. What's your set, Nob?
Set two.
And I am set 2, and I know David is set 2 as well. So at the end of the talking portion here, stay tuned to listen to set 2 of April 2nd, 1990. And who would be your Mother Chucker, your MVP, the best player of the show? They were all really good. I'm going to go to Nob just because I need to think about this one for a moment.
I was hoping you would say you.
Yeah,
so
sorry.
I could think about it. No, it's okay. Because to me, it's a really good show for really everybody. But to me, it's Bobby, it's Brent, and it's Jerry. I think Bobby especially really shines in the first set. But even the Looks Like Rain is incredibly well sung. He holds his own in the Death Don't Have No Mercy. But, I mean, there's a name that comes up the most on my notes in this show. And so I think I have to give it to Brent.
To Brent, okay. I'm going to give it to Jerry.
It is a great Jerry show.
Yeah, I mean, and we have Death Don't Have No Mercy, Black Money River, Mississippi Half Step. Some really good Jerry vehicles here.
Yeah.
But really, I mean, this was a concerted effort by everybody. Foolish Heart, oh god, it's so good. And I think for me, it's really the juxtaposition between that '84 show that we featured last week and then Jerry's sound. The guitar playing was actually better tonight, but it wasn't as glaring of a difference with that '84 show to the '90 show with the guitar. But the vocals, just his vocal timbre. Just night and day, really. So it's great to hear Jerry. David, any thoughts? Who would be your favorite player of this one?
I'd probably say Jerry of every show of the 82 I went to. But since this is the end of the Brent era, I'm going to go with him.
Okay, cool. All right, we're gonna skip this next portion about belts. And title belts. Okay, so we'll go to Reddit comments. We already talked about Grateful D Fish. Thank you very much for that comment. We have one more comment from frequent commenter on the Grateful Dead subreddit, Arcturian Ally, saying special Jerry night with Death Don't Have No Mercy and Black Muddy River in the same show. So Arcturian agrees with me, or maybe I agree with Arcturian. Next show, we will be featuring going in the Wayback Machine back to 1972. This is September 10th, 1972. This is just before Europe 72, Nob?
No, after.
This is after? I thought Europe's...
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
No, Europe's April and May.
oh, okay. You're right. All right. I was thinking October for some reason. Okay,
You guys,
so
you know
well
what?
after that.
You guys ever been to the Hollywood Palladium?
I have
I've never
not.
been to Hollywood.
No, I'm in LA, so yeah.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
East Coasters.
We're East
Oh,
Coasters. We have a very different...
It's a tremendous place, but there are a lot of punk bands play there too later.
Oh,
Over the
cool.
last 25 years.
Cool.
Hollywood Palladium, man. Only 3,300 people went to those shows.
Wow.
Damn.
Well, we had the best punk band in 1972 play in the Grateful Dead, starting off with Bertha, Greatest Story Ever Told. We got Dark Star in this one with David Crosby. Wow. I
Yeah,
didn't know
famous
that
song.
ever happened. Oh, so Crosby was actually in for a couple of these shows or songs. Dark Star, Jack Straw, Sing Me Back Home, Sugar Mag, all with David Crosby. Very cool.
Every 72 show is cool.
Agreed.
Hell yeah.
Agreed.
We got a bird song. Cool. All right. So we're just going to do some housekeeping and make our way out of here. We would like y'all to smash that subscribe button, like and share if you like what we're doing here. Please go on Amazon or email davidadavis@gmail.com to secure your copy of The Economic History of the Grateful Dead, a look inside the financial records of America's biggest 20th century touring act. You can find us, the Help on the Way pod, wherever pods are downloaded, including Spotify, but you won't be able to find set 2 of April 2nd, 1990. That will only be found on our website or on other podcast platforms, helponthewaypod.podbean.com. You can always email us if you have a question or want to be on the show, helponthewaypod@gmail.com. If you want your comment about the weekly show to be featured in the show, check us out on reddit.com/r/Grateful Dead. We are always stickied up at the top of the Grateful Dead subreddit. We are on YouTube as well, and we're also at Blue Sky. It is helponthewaypod.bsky.social. Want to thank very, very much, this is a very interesting conversation, our guest for the evening, David A. Davis. David, any closing thoughts?
Had a really fun time talking with you guys. It's so cool to talk to guys that didn't get to see like 1970s shows, but are still like way into this stuff. So I appreciate talking to you guys, and I want to thank Nob for all those questions that were really actually serious and thoughtful.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a blast having you on, getting to talk to you. I have read the book. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I really enjoyed the book. It's probably the first time in a few years that I've read a book about the Grateful Dead that I found myself walking away with tons of new information.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, and so that's it for us. So please stay tuned for the second set of April 2nd, 1990, the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia. And for myself, for Nob, for David Davis, and we want to thank you for listening to another episode of the Help on the Way podcast.
that's in you. You feel to be your fault. Never give your love, my friend, unto a foolish heart. Unto a foolish heart. tread till you are torn apart. Once upon a night, first from end to start. Never give your love, my friend, unto a foolish heart. 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 Foolish heart.
I woke today, felt your side of bed. The covers were still warm where you've been laying. You were cold. My heart was filled with dread. You might not be sleeping here again. But it's alright, 'cause I love you. That's not gonna change. Run me round, make me hurt again and again. But I'll still sing you love songs written in the letters of your name. Brave the storm to come, for it surely looks like rain. Did you ever awaken to the sound of street cats making love? And guess from their cries you were listening to a fight. Well, you know, he's just the last thing they're thinking of. You're only trying to make it through the night. I don't wanna tie you down, fence you in the lines I might have drawn. It's just that I've gotten used to having you around. would be empty if you were gone. It's alright 'cause I love you. That's not gonna change. Run me round, make me hurt again and again and again. But I'll still sing you love songs written in the letters of your name. And breathe the time to come, for it surely looks like rain. Tell you again, breathe the storm to come, for it surely looks like rain. Yes, it's turning gray, it looks like rain. Here we come again, here come the rain. Turning red, it looks like rain. Here it come again. Here come the rain. Rain, rain, go away. I can't take no more rain today. Not again today. See, rain, rain, go away. I can't take no more rain today. All my life I've seen rain and I've seen red, red. Here it come again. Here come the rain. All my life I've seen red, 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 red. Here it come again. Here come the rain. Rain, rain, and go away. I can't take no more. I can't take no more rain today. No more rain. Rain, rain, go away. I can't take no more rain today. Hey, 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 hey. All my life I've seen rain and rain, rain. I can't take no more rain today. Can't stand it no. All my life I've seen red, red. Here it come again. Turning green, it looks like rain. I can't stand it no. All my life I've seen red, red and red. I can't stand the rain. I can't stand the rain. All my life I've seen rain, rain, rain. I can't stand the 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 rain. I can't stand the
locomotive rolling down the track. He's gone, gone, and nothing's gonna bring him back. He's gone. 9 miles skidding on a 10-mile ride. Hot as a pistol, but cool inside. Cat on a tin roof, dogs in a pile. Nothing left to do but smile, smile, smile. Now he's gone. Now he's gone. Gone, he's gone. He's gone. Like a steam locomotive rolling down the track. He's gone, gone, and nothing's gonna bring him back. He's gone. Going where the wind don't blow so straight. Maybe off on some high old mountain chain. Lost one round, but the prize wasn't anything, and half in the back and more of the same. Same old rat in the drain ditch, caught on a limb. You know better, but I know him. Like I told you what I said. Steal your face right off your head. Now he's gone. Now he's gone. Gone, he's gone. He's gone. Steam locomotive rolling down the track. He's gone, gone, and nothing's gonna bring him back. He's gone. Still look the morning rolling down the track. He's gone, gone. Nothing's gonna bring him back. He's gone. Nothing's gonna bring him back. 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 'Cause he's gone, 'cause he's gone, yes he's gone. Oh, nothing's gonna bring him back.
Gonna bring him back.
Oh, nothing's gonna bring him back. Yeah, he's gone. Oh, nothing's gonna bring him back.
Well, it's gone for good.
Oh, nothing's gonna bring him back. Oh, nothing's gonna bring him back. Gone, listen. Oh, nothing's gonna bring him back. Listen. Oh, nothing's gonna bring him back. Listen. Oh, nothing's gonna bring him back. Listen.
Told you once and I told you twice. Never listen to my advice. Don't try very hard to please me. What you know it should be easy. Well, this could be the last time. This could be the last time. Maybe the last time. I don't know. Sorry, girl, but I can't stay. Feeling like I do today. Too much pain, too much sorrow. Yes, I feel the same tomorrow. Well, this could be the last time. This could be the last time. Maybe the last time. I don't know. once and I told you twice. So now listen to the price. Now here's a chance to change your mind. I've been gone a long, long time. Well, this could be the last time. This could be the last time. Maybe the last time. I don't know. Oh, you don't know. I don't know. Well, I don't know. Could be the last time. I don't know. Could be the last time, baby. I don't know. We're going, I don't know. This could be the last time. I don't know. I don't know. This could be the last time. I don't know. Could be the last. This could be the last time. I don't know. Last time, baby. Last time. Spanish lady come to me, she lays on me the snow. The rainbows fly around and round and tremble and explode. You let the smoke clear of my mind, I like to float away. Will the heat come round and buzzing me for smiling on a cloudy day? Coming around, y'all. Coming around.
no vacation in this land. In this land. You come to your house and it don't take long. You look in the bed, find your brother's home. Oh, death, have no mercy in this land. Death will leave you tired and lonely in this land. Death will leave you crying and lonely in this land. In this land. You come to your house and it don't take long. You look in your bed and you find your own money gone. Death don't have no mercy. It don't have no mercy.
Death don't take it. Take no vacation in this land. Death don't take no vacation in this land. In this land. Come to your house, you know it don't stay long. Look around the room, somebody will be gone. I see that death don't take no vacation. This land.
Death don't have no mercy in this land. Death don't have no mercy in this land. In this land. Come to your house, you know it don't take long. You look in the bed, everybody's gone. Death don't have no mercy in this land.
John was jumping, going around and round. Hey now, reeling and rocking. But no, they never stopped rocking till the moon went down. The Lord sounded so sweet, I had to take a chance. I rose out of my seat, 'cause I had to. I started moving my feet, oh yes, and clapping my hands. No, they never stopped rocking, going round and round. Hey, now we've been rocking with a crazy sound. But no, they never stopped rocking till the moon went down. Oh, around 12 o'clock, the whole place, it was packed. The front doors, they were locked. The whole place, it was packed. But when the police knocked, them old doors, they threw back. But no, they never stopped rocking, going round and round. Hey, now reeling and rocking, what a crazy sound. No, they never stopped rocking till the moon went down. Oh, that sounded so sweet now. I had to take a chance. I rose out of my seat now. What I had to do, I started moving my feet. Oh, here's a clap of my hand. But no, they never stopped rocking, going round, round, and round. But what a crazy sound. But no, they never stopped rocking. So till the moon went down. Well, I was feeling sort of bad. Asked my family doctor down what I had. I said, now doctor, Mr. MD, what can you tell me? What's ailing me? He said, yeah. What you need? Oh, yes, you need good love. Got to have love. Got to have love. So give me good love.
So I said, baby, squeeze me tight. Don't you want your daddy to be alright? I said, now baby, one thing's for sure, I got the fever, you got the cure. I said, yeah. I said,
Well, I was feeling sort of bad now. Asked my family doctor about what I had now. I said, now doctor, listen to me. Oh, can you tell me what's in me? Oh, he said, yeah, yeah. He said, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Good love. You got to have it. Well, you got to have love. Good love. Who needs it?
Ooh, baby, baby, I gotta know. Will you be my girl?
Give me good love.
Good love now.
Give me good love. Good love and love
Got to have love
now. Love and late at night now. Oh, got to
have
have
love.
good love.
Got to have loving.
Got to have.
Got to have loving.
Well, I need it.
Got to have loving.
Talking about me, I talk about you. Give me
To
good
have loving.
Loving, lady.
Got to have loving.
Loving, lady. Give me
Got to
good
have loving.
Give me
To have loving.
You got to have love. Give me
To have loving. Got to have a good love. Good love.
Give me
Good love.
Give me
Good love.
Give me
Good love.
good love. Give me
Good love.
good love.
Good love.
Good love. Give me
When the last rose of summer breaks my finger, and the hot sun chills me to the bone, and I can't hear the song for the singing, and I can't tell my pill from a stone. I will walk alone by the black muddy river and sing me a song of my own. I will walk alone by the black muddy river and sing me a song of my own. Last hope of sunshine hits the mountains, and the stars start to splatter in the sky, and the moon splits towards the southwest horizon with the swing of an eagle on the fly. I will walk alone by the black muddy river and listen to the billows as they roll. I will walk alone by the black muddy river and sing me a song of my own. Black muddy river, roll on forever. I don't care how deep or wide, if you got another side. Roll muddy river, roll muddy river, black muddy river, roll. Black muddy river, roll on forever. I don't care how deep or wide, if you got another side. Roll muddy river, roll muddy river, black muddy river, roll. When it seems like this night will last forever, and there's nothing left to do but count the years. When the strings of my heart start to sever, stones fall from my eyes instead of tears. I will walk alone by the black